ban. I actually want to see Kassadin ban as well. I want to see Ryze ban. Those are the 3 bans, because last time they banned Vladimir and Ashe. Honestly, useless bans. You can play Taliyah into the Vladimir if you want to. You don't have to ban the Ashe in the first place.
But Malzahar ban again. Okay, so Unicorns won after banning it last time, but I don't really like it. You don't like it either, I know. Just because, I don't feel like it's that blind pickable anymore that it is must ban. So Rek'Sai's going to be first pick.
There's the counter. Well, yeah, they didn't ban the Shen, so instant.
The difference is the Shen Kassadin combo was impossible for G2 to deal with because they were drafting Lissandra against it, and they couldn't try and force fights. They were stuck in side lanes against Kassadin. So clearly G2 feels, as risky as it may be, also because Chachi had a great game on Shen in these fights, they feel like giving Shen over, grabbing Sivir Rek'Sai, and probably going Gnar again into the Shen is the correct way to go. And they're okay with Chachi not being on a champion where he can carry himself in terms of killing people.
Yeah.
He set it up for his team really well though last
Well, it was a really close thing. Yes, Chachi had a monster impact, but so did Sven. He pretty much saved that game in the base, even if they weren't able to finish it off. They did get wiped out in the mid lane a little bit later, but it wasn't terrible champion choices from G2 Esports.
So Gragas Lucian would be the rotation if we're going the same as the last game here after the Sivir Rek'Sai. That made a lot of sense for the Unicorns and worked very well for them. As you said, Kassadin is a missing piece of this puzzle. So again, we're in a situation where if G2 show their mid lane on this rotation, which they did not in the last game, this would allow Unicorns a little bit more freedom.
It seems like G2 just value banning Exile above everything else. Even with Chachi's performance, they're like, no, 3 mid lane bans. These were the 3 most played picks from Exile, so now we might have to see something new. We know he's an assassin plays, but a lot of LeBlanc in the past. Lissandra he could play as well if they want to stick to this 1-3-1, where it's about trying to snowball, especially the bottom lane. This is a pick we want to see.
Whoa! Okay, the Taliyah comes out finally.
But Perk's showing it very early, giving now a chance for Exile to pick against it. Clearly G2 values getting a support pick and not being forced to blind pick something like Trundle like in the last game.
Exactly, and this is the thing where if Unicorns go Trundle here, if Unicorns go Trundle here, now they have a bad situation. They'd be picking it into the Sivir for the matchup. They don't go that way and go the Taric instead. As you said, the LeBlanc has been hovered over, and we know that that is a potential matchup into the Taliyah. So we'll see whether that's the one Exile wants.
And it is. Along with the Taric for Hilla saying Exile does grab himself LeBlanc. Now, this is the champion. We talk about him getting kills, especially solo kills. This is the one he leads on it. Oh!
We do not see too much Soraka here in Europe. We've seen it a couple of times at Amithi.
That was one unicorn I wasn't expecting.
Deficio has an interested look on his face.
Yeah, this is a surprise, definitely. G2 saving that support pick for last and then opting in for a ranged support to try and have a stronger lane, definitely. However, we know what Unicorns wants to do with their comp is engage, dive the backline. Soraka against heavy engage and heavy backline dive can be extremely hard to play. She's fantastic against poke, when she can sit back and heal up and they're not really threatening her at all. Things like Taunt Flash, Body Slam Flash, LeBlanc one-shot Soraka. Mithi right now is basically telling his team that his positioning is going to be perfect and he will not get destroyed in the start of these fights here. G2 suddenly have a stronger 2v2 than last game, where they had a bit of a tough time with their Trundle Sivir against Lucian and Taric. So they're changing it up, but they're once again giving Shen over, clearly saying Chachi not on a carry split pusher is what G2 wants.
Well, what they've shown us, though, is the Taliyah in exchange. Is they're going to be able to bring another person down to the bottom lane. Exile is playing Teleport LeBlanc.
Which
doesn't have the full kill pressure, which is a good choice, allows him to follow the Taliyah. So it could be a bottom lane party the entire game long in this game. If they can get onto Mithi, utilize maybe the Taric with the LeBlanc, get those stuns, see if they can pull it off.
Yeah, bring all the friends to the party. We'll see if they can do it. Series is tied at 1-1 right now. Very close games. I expect a whole lot more blood. Let's see what happens. We're going to load up onto the Rift for the 3rd time today. Unicorns of Love, G2 Esports. Let's get this thing started already.
And Soraka is one of the picks that benefit a lot from a non-lane swap meta, because Soraka in lane swap, it sucks. You fall behind in levels, you know, you don't reach your level 6, you can't out-heal the damage other people can deal because you're like level 3 or something. It's like the mid-game. So Soraka in standard lanes, it's a great buff for her. So it's one of these picks, you kind of expect it to sneak her way back slightly because she's so good in these standard lanes. And LeBlanc as well, teleport, you mentioned it, Stress. I think it is the correct choice. If you run Ignite, you put everything in the basket of you actually winning your lane straight up and getting these kills. TP, it's better. You don't get many solo kills early on in these games. Run with another global and play 1-3-1.
But Soraka is such a rare pick for Europe specifically. Like
Mythy,
we
so
see
guys doing it.
He played 4 games of it before. You know, we see it a lot out of Adrian over in North America, a lot out of Immortals. But right now, we haven't seen too many other people do it, so I'm now interested to see how this is going to be affected by, as you said, the standard lane setup. A lot stronger in that respect. But against the LeBlanc, the dive potential that you highlighted in Champion Select, that is the drawback of Soraka, is you attack Soraka in fights and suddenly you lose all of the healing, you lose any presence from a support.
Now what Soraka can do against LeBlanc that is very effective is when LeBlanc distortions forward, if you put down the silence instant, LeBlanc is out of options. Very, very quickly. She can't do a rotation to kill anyone. She can't really escape effectively either.
Yeah.
So by saving that pick, and probably also knowing that LeBlanc, you know, because like we were sitting here being like, oh, they're banning out all these picks. Well, like now we most like the CXL fall back on something like LeBlanc. Well, G2 clearly had the same idea, and they're like, oh, if it is LeBlanc, we have this pocket pick in Soraka ready. We'll give some more push control as well for G2, but they gotta always be careful about the all-in.
So does Sven. Oh boy, that prompted a real quick exhaust out of Mythy.
Yeah, a lot of respect there because of that lockdown that came out from Hylissang, already forced the first summoner.
But we gotta keep in mind, trades in the bottom lane against Soraka where you end up trading HP is actually never in favor of you, it's in favor of the Soraka, because then she out-sustains you. You need to have all-ins, where you burst them down, force the summoner, or kill them. If you trade 50-50, well then Sivir just gets a few heals from Soraka, and the next time you trade, it's not a 50-50. You go down to 20%. It's hard to do anything. These are kind of the all-ins you want.
They get the dazzle. There's a summoner heal really quickly used by Sven right now. Hylissang very low on this. They cannot re-engage.
That's both summoners. Hilly hasn't used his Ignite yet, though. But as you said, the health has now gone into G2's effectiveness, or at least will give them presence now in the lane. They can afford to be a little bit more brutal, as Hylissang is looking to recall to try and get out, but had to cancel.
It looked like they had an engage down, but only level 2. It's really difficult for them against another level 2 combo to just like all in and actually get the kill. With the defensive summoners used early by G2, understanding how they actually survived the first few trades. And now you just out-sustain. You saw Hylissang already wanted to back, well he can't. If he backs, well then Sven push all the way into tower. Expect on the other hand.
Yeah, Chachi might be wishing he had an Ignite, but still a bit more useful for the team. Taking that TP, can't finish the damage. Expect it to level up here.
Ignite. Both one.
Hey, it's going to be a long time before we see the Ignite come back to top lane. We keep trying to get teleport.
I don't know, man. Huni played Riven. Anything's possible.
With teleport.
Yeah.
Not with Ignite.
And
yeah, but still. Maybe he would have got more kills with Ignite.
We don't want Riven.
Let's not talk about NA. Okay.
Not this world. Last world, yes.
Yeah, when it wasn't like over-nerfed and item changes and stuff. Different situation. Anyhow, as we talked about, much stronger 2v2 lane for G2 now. Pushing priority. If you don't all in them, well, this is what happens. You get slowly chunked down, and then you go back to base and you cry, because this is gonna keep happening. Unless you like get a gank, so you start spamming, you know, assist pings down to the bottom lane. Problem is for Move, on this Gragas here, he's right now on the other side of the map.
That's what we criticized the first game, actually, but he was still able to make a few plays the longer it went on. But yeah, he's a little bit preoccupied with stuff. Skull Crab.
They've actually stopped the recalls in the bottom lane a few times now.
And that could be dangerous, because Perkz is getting towards level 6.
Oh, right into him. This could be trouble, but in comes Trick. Exile was a little bit too late. Now Move's actually going to have to flash before he gets shoved back towards Perkz and Trick.
Perkz did use Ghost in that exchange, so a little less quick to get to the roam, but still will have that wall when he can get down there.
Great early start though from G2 if you look at the lanes. While there's been no kills, just looking at how they have control in the bottom lane, will get a CS advantage automatically. Mid lane, Perkz, because he plays Taliyah, who can push level 1 so effectively and outpush almost any mid lane champion, actually got to pull off a very early recall where he picks up a Negatron play. So there's no real kill pressure or like even proper poke from Exile right now. He has to constantly respect the fact that Perkz can very easily land a little knockback when you distortion back as well as a LeBlanc.
Oh!
Sven got his recall interrupted.
He did get stopped, and
Mythi's here.
Shield's out. Mythi's back. Yeah, Veritas a little bit too low, though. They don't want to go all in on this one. Chachi's going to get his stopped as well, back up towards top side.
No one gets the recall in this game.
No one gets a shot.
Nobody at
Except
all.
for Perkz, who's been back twice.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. There's some people coming in.
Yes,
Veritas wants to tango. Instant exhaust. It comes Trick. Interrupted by Move, and Hylissang. He's going to be forced to flash away, though. The 3v3, not some Unicorns wanted to take.
Okay, I actually thought Move had flash still. Forgot he lost it before. He couldn't even body slam flash on Mythy here to kill him. Trick still being a pro in the bottom lane, and now he's trading mid lane.
Oh, and he's going to be bringing Visit Chachi. Perkz. Oh, he knocks him right on back. Flashes in. Exile's coming forward, but Chachi's already way too far away to make it happen. Threaded volley. Most of it dodged out. Exile, they're going to finish this job. The taunt is on. The Gnar is coming, but it is too little. It is too late, and that's first blood to Exile.
First blood expect follows up.
Chachi, he's still trying to hang tough here, but he's going down. Sacrifices so Exile can walk away.
Perkz didn't have a lot of options. Without that ghost available, Exile knew he just had to wait out the landmines, not W forward on them, not proc them, because otherwise he probably loses that trade. Just wait it out. Shen ult comes in. Perkz can't use that ultimate because he'd get cancelled out of it straight away, and there was no escape from him once that flash had been blown. Look at how patient Exile is for this entire thing. Can't get most of his damage out. Just waits, and now they know that they can go on Perkz. Really nice attempt to push him back off the rock, but
yeah,
still.
Could maybe argue Exile should just have flashed it in the first place.
Possibly.
Not actually get knocked back by it and then flash. Obviously, they end up chasing anyway, but this now means Chachi is actually really far out when he gets collapsed on. If they flash that knockback instantly and get onto Perkz straight away,
They get him closer, yeah.
Chachi never have to really overextend for the kill, but small things that can often end up costing extra. Still, G2 showing the strategy with giving Shen over. Remember, guys, they had side selection in this game, and they went for red side. They left Shen open again and said, you know what, it's not the Shen, it's Exile on his castle. Good.
Yeah.
Remove all his picks.
They valued the Sivir Rek'Sai, I mean,
of course they do. You would always want to get, like, Sivir Rek'Sai. It's one of the best rotations.
but over the Shen, I mean.
Over the Shen, yeah. But again, it's Chachi not on a carry specifically. It's Veritas being put on more of a carry duty. And now also with the last pick, Soraka from G2 to have a much better 2v2 lane. It's actually really good adaptation. And LeBlanc right now is not a consistent pick. She's very high risk, high reward. That's why a lot of teams don't want to play her. So clearly, G2 feels a lot more confident playing against that than a Kassadin. We know teams in Europe love to play.
Oh yeah, we know our teams love Kassadin. Splice have used its great effect so much so it was banned a lot in their series yesterday as well. Exile's going to look for the steal. I was going to say he's going to try it blind. Kind of a dangerous thing to do, going over the wall.
Ward spotted. Now he reveals himself there.
Nah, they just wait this out. Exile loses too much time if he tries to steal this blue and ends up probably almost dying because of the ward. So smart choice to go back to the mid lane, pushes it out, tries to cost Perkz a little bit more CS here, but won't actually cost him much at all.
And while last game Unicorns have so many, or had so many chances to make a play in the bottom lane, they won't have the same chances now because they're not being able to push. They're not really setting up a dive.
Exile's
They're
coming
going
up
for
here.
expect instead.
Oh, he's spotted. Pink's on. Okay, hop and
flash.
taunted. No flash available. He's going to feed this one over on a silver platter, but Chachi gets it in the end.
And Perkz, who is playing the Taliyah, has not been able to follow Exile in some of these plays, hasn't been able to get in range to use the wall. It's too short this early on, and was already coming the long way around from blue, so he didn't get burst down by Exile, and just couldn't quite follow.
Well, that's the key thing about the roam. By placing that ward at the blue buff, Exile knew, okay, two members are still sitting there taking it down, had rough timing on when it would die, so he could start roaming. Obviously impossible to push out. Here's the
Oh
TP.
boy, there's a party. Unicorns came to play right now, and they're looking for Sven and Mythy. In comes Move, throws the barrel. They knock Mythy back in, but he flashes right back into the team. Taric ultimate's on. The Weaver's Wall stops any further aggression, and Mythy, can he make the great escape?
He wants to execute himself here, just run back towards that inhib turret. Run, Soraka!
Should have timed out.
Ah, silence. LeBlanc's natural enemy.
Oh, silence.
Hops over it.
He didn't hit him yet.
Didn't get the damage. Executed! Oh, Mythy.
That is well played under pressure. When that double TP happens in the bottom lane, and you managed to get out, only dying to the tower. That was 2 globals used by Unicorns of Love. This is how they could attack the bottom lane against the push. 2 guys TPing on the same ward.
No, it was the Shen ult onto the
Oh, sorry, yeah, you're right. Shen ult on actually Exile. Good timing there.
The wall
runs away. What a great move.
That's actually pretty fantastic after. First of all, credit to the Unicorns for recognizing without Shen TP, they needed to get the numbers. So timed it perfectly. The one TP arrives, then the Shen follows. I mean, you could also Shen ult on somebody that's in the fight already.
Sure.
That was
Looks
just
better
the more
this way.
flashy way where you're like, I'm just going to go on the guy that's TPing, don't worry about it.
So Unicorns unfortunately walk away empty-handed there after using a few of their globals.
Oh, and that was like, normally that would be such a guaranteed kill. You gank a Soraka lane that's pushed to your tower with double global. LeBlanc, Shen, mobile targets here, or mobile champions that can easily lock down something like Soraka. And they don't get a single kill. Definitely not good for Unicorns of Love. They're still side ahead, but it barely means anything at this point.
He finds Perks, but Trick finds him. Whoa, quick flash. Get out of harm's way.
Move is around mid. The problem here for Unicorns is, again, because they didn't manage to get a kill before, they're actually losing this mid or bottom mid tower. Slowly but surely it will go down because Soraka Civ is not going to stop pushing, and because there is no double TP now, it's only Shen who can actually TP to the bottom lane. Expect can match it. Suddenly Unicorns can't really make that aggressive play anymore that they were trying to do before.
And the pink ward is already out behind G2 in the bush, so they know
the classic.
Yeah, exactly. The classic pink ward, you deny that deep TP ward coming out from the Unicorns of Love, so all about holding control around those teleport plays. Means Unicorns have to kind of attack from
He found the ward.
Got it.
Killed the ward and now he plays the stone. It's like,
I mean, G2 now know this.
This is totally not a TP ward.
Look, pink ward comes back
It
out.
is totally not a TP. Mid doesn't want to play that game.
There's been a lot of ward boards this series.
This one still works, by the way, if you play very low elo. Just plays that ward dead and never think about it.
I'm listening.
Is it slow elo to show?
This is definitely not low.
Perks is ghosting, by the way, because Boog is right there in the backline. Exile was a smidgen too late. Quick flash out of Perks to save his life there.
Yeah, some good pressure around mid lane. Perks constantly into fear for his life. Both
He's out of summoners now, by the way.
Chachi still trying to trade as much as possible with Expect. He knows he can be a little bit of a bully now, but he knows in about 10 minutes, Expect is going to be the bully. So get all your anger out now. You won't be able to later. And Unicorns have not been able to really excel the game like they did last time.
And it's difficult, right? Up a bottom lane that is...
Oh, whoa!
Like
And in comes LeBlanc. Exile finishes the job on Expect.
So we were talking about whether it would be move camping for Vizichachi. Turns out it's actually Exile that's now coming top lane to push this matchup a little further in his favor, pick up some kills for the LeBlanc as well. We've seen what Exile can do if he manages to get a couple of kills under his belt and start snowballing. Trick wants in on this matchup, though.
Does get the knockup on Burrow, and Chachi just taunts his way out. You find a little bit more damage.
Ult in a few seconds for Exile here. Oh, if you had it ready before, it's up now. Could have chunked Trick even lower, potentially even threaten a kill. Trick is a little bit tanky though, early on. But yeah, Exile been able to roll quite a lot and actually impact top lane. Bottom lane.
Get a dazzle out, double on to Sven and Mithy. Well, Sven rather spell
same
shield
ward
that one
back
out.
now.
Veritas.
Double TP is ready in just a few seconds.
That's
for
when we get another
Exile.
party.
That's where, well, it just means C2 can't really push. If they can't clear their ward, they can't really push further, because then double TP will happen. And yeah, you escape once. You're not going to escape twice.
Wouldn't that be something? Exile trying to steal away the blue. But it goes over to Perks in the end. Hillsang and Veritas a little bit low on health bars, but they're still pushing up and punishing Sven and Mithy here.
Move now on the bottom side. Shen ulti is available.
He's coming
Used
through.
it, and in comes move right around the backside.
He's out.
But Mithy and Sven did manage to make their way away. Teleport coming in, it will finish, and in comes Expect. Trick soon to follow, move way too low. Perks is gonna get taken down by Exile, meanwhile in the mid, but down in the bottom. Trick picks up move, and they keep on trucking here. The Taric ultimate does come out. Hillsang having to flash away. A three-man Gnar right into the wall, and Expect picks up Hillsang. Trick is just going crazy right now, and Exile is way, way late to this party. What can he get done here?
Oh, not a lot. He's going to have to try.
Oh,
Nope.
that stings.
Taken down. G2, good turnaround on this, picking up 4 kills for themselves, only losing Perks in the process, and they're going to get themselves the Ocean Drake from this, and Tower for Tower First Blood as well. Really, really very good turnaround from G2. Managing to get Sven out was the crucial part.
But just like this entire series, all of these hinging on little mistakes, and G2 this time the beneficiaries as Sven looks to back away. Chachi has other ideas, however. He just walks up and hits him.
Stops the recall. Once we get to see this whole thing again, it starts all the way back with Unicorns diving on G2, where Mithy has an MVP silence that stops Move and Chachi from actually locking down this bottom lane. So look at the dive here. Wait for the silence from Mithy. It means Move cannot use his ulti, and Chachi silence when he arrives, so he cannot taunt either. That allows G2 to now run back. Move also then misses his ulti after. He was so angry, he just threw it out.
I believe there's another one coming on the teleport in from LeBlanc as well, because this was the rest of the fight. This is where LeBlanc just kills Perks in the middle lane. They follow past the Taracle. Beautiful ult. Is there a silence that comes out here to lock them down? Yes, and this is what forces Exile to get locked down as he arrives.
Mithy was honestly the MVP of this. Yeah, it looked fancy with the Gnar, but the way he used the silence to avoid the CC when they actually get attacked on the tower, and then another perfect timing here, and Exile to snare him. Beautiful Soraka play from Mithy, and setting up a lot of kills here for G2 together with the rest of the team. And
Okay, Exile gets a little hyphy here. He's gonna have to flash.
Oh, Weaver's wall. Hang on.
They're not done. Okay, hopping it off.
Oh,
in comes Hylissang. He's found Perks. He's ignited right now, and he's got no more mana. Shoves Hylissang right back onto the grenades. Veritas is here. Move. They're trying to make a fight happen, but G2 don't want any part of that.
They got the Taracle. A lot was used in that back and forth. Expect at this point is pushing down to the bottom lane against Chachi. No TP available for him though, so as soon as he goes down there, Unicorns know they'll have the global advantage. They would have it anyway, even if TP was up, because of the Shen ultimate being available too. So
nice champ.
They've always got to respect that. Yeah, I know. Got two. I guess that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
Huh?
It is pretty strong. However, G2 have been able to play around it, because whenever Unicorns actually force something in the bottom lane, either the great escape happened from Mithy or the great silence happened from Mithy. So right now, this guy is just being able to outplay multiple ganks from Unicorns, but Exile has been great this game when it comes to setting up Chachi and shutting down Expect. Because his roam towards the top side has been very impactful, and it's been like the highlight for Unicorns in this game. But it's been the only thing that really worked for them. Because whenever they go bot lane, Mithy's there, stops everything.
Yeah, exactly. What is the backup plan? What else are they going to do? Last time they had this composition, they rounded it out with the Kassadin, which was banned. And LeBlanc isn't exactly going to scale that hard in the late game. Sure, you can get fed and do some work on it, but it seems like their options are way limited.
I mean, that's why G2 were okay giving away Shen again and then say, we can draft around this. It was the mid lane pick that was the issue, not the Shen. Because now if you're G2, once again, you have that Gnar with Black Cleaver against Shen, so that's a winning matchup for Expect. And all Perks have to do on this Talia in the side lane is not dive 1v1 to Exile. That's kind of his job, and try and just push out the wave. It is hard. Obviously, Exile is 3-1 at this point.
A little harder for Perks.
Yeah.
This is a play. He does like to try and take those trades. You saw the stat earlier about the trading with First Bloods.
Got Sonar on Chachi. Throws the boulder. Chachi, can he even take this with Mega Gnar form?
Yes,
There's still
can.
minions helping out. He's going to taunt right on in. And the outplay 1v1 for a visit Chachi.
Oh, Expect you don't have the Rift Herald buff. That's difficult to say this time around. Couldn't really take it. And Chachi, look at how far ahead on farm Chachi is. I mean, Expect has got an extra kill on top of him, but still isn't able to take that fight when he's expecting to be able to, and Unicorns will take that and just put it in their pocket and save that for later, because that's just a free one over to the Unicorns I love.
We've seen too many bad decisions honestly today.
Oh boy, and there's a lot more decisions being made. In goes Move, and Perks, the rest of G2 trying to kite back, but Chachi flash taunts in straight onto Mithy. They want to shut him down. He's burning, but he stays alive. Chachi now, the rest of the team is here for G2. They shove Hylissang to his death. Chachi bailing out, Veritas left for dead. And this is just going to be crazy. One more stone thrown by Perks.
Exile managed to one-shot Sven here in the fight as well. They're chasing for Chachi. Exile around the corner. He's a little bit too low to really jump in.
He still might try. Throws the chains on. No, it's dodged out, or rather extends the tether. Expect just can't find the boulder to hit its mark. Chachi plays him a little bit there, and it's going to be a 1-for-2 all said and done. as we just hit the 20 minutes.
The leash laws being in effect, just being able to keep away the giant an hour away from the rest of the Unicorns. So off that fight, as you said, expect Exile managed to blow up some people from G2 and get in there on the side. G2 are going to take a turret from it, though, as Perkz has been able to push that off. TP coming in from behind to try and punish it.
That's way behind. Oh boy, Exile's on a hunt.
Cutting him off, but...
And so is... I mean, Perkz is really dead here.
Well... Yeah, he's
And
if he can get the W over the first wall, maybe he can look to get out, but didn't have the...
that was good old-fashioned collapse.
So, this is a good play, a good start from Unicorns because they have the Shen ulti and there's no top laner from G2, but the execution, because Veritas is not able to run past tower, didn't get to see if he actually tanked it at first, they're missing his damage now to kill Mithy. And now, you can get the turnaround where tower is still alive, Veritas is tanking tower, taking it down. Exile gets that kill onto Sven though. Very important for him.
Veritas with the heal.
But this should have been way better for Unicorns with the Shen ulti coming in. But because Veritas wasn't able to join, he didn't have enough damage to actually kill that backline.
Well, we're straight back into a little bit of a posture between Unicorns and G2 now around the Infernal Drake, which has just spawned. And as G2 look to maybe hold on to it, Weaver's Wall is about to come up. So Perkz can join this fight from a distance, but Exile has been so strong in this game, 5-1. The last 2 games have really been all about him powering up.
Absolutely, and he just needs to use that power to start shutting people down. Let's see what happens as Mithy gets chunked a little bit. Exile, he's going to get popped really quick, has to bail right on back, and Chachi was right on top of him. They can't really get involved in this fight anymore. Veritas is also getting chunked out. Perkz just keeps throwing stones, and in comes the wall. He surfs, he hops right over to Hylissang. Pushing him away here, the barrel disengaged for move, but they are still on top of the Taric. Not for much longer, though.
Sven a little cut off, but will regroup with the rest of his team. That was Shen ult used during that exchange, as they needed to keep Exile alive. And with LeBlanc going back, no TP. Shen does have his and is channeling it. Looking to come into this fight from the top side of the Rift.
Oh, move! He can't quite get it off. Trick smites down the dragon. Secured by G2 Esports. That'll help them out the longer this game goes on. Unicorns lose out on that objective.
Such a crazy game, though. Constantly action here. Both teams want to look for fights or objective all the time. No one is sitting back waiting.
Every time we come out of replay, there's another one.
Yeah, someone is fighting. Either it's a 1v1 or 5-on-5. Unicorns around this mid tower. Remember, guys, Taric, Gragas, Shen, you can dive with these kind of comps. But right now, there's 5 members alive on G2, so it's too risky.
Trick wants to fight now as well.
Yeah, and he just might get his wish. Perkz keeps on volleying. Moves a little bit low in this one, and now Unicorns have to be very careful. Exile can't find the flank off onto Trick.
You have to remember the comp from G2 doesn't really run like easy hard engage to pull off. It's flashes from either Rek'Sai or Gnar to start fights, so very easy for Unicorns to just kind of back away.
Oh, Trick flashing. Okay, in goes Hylissang with Chachi right at the back of it. They make a wish, though. Mithy is hoping for a 1 fight here, but everyone is going way too low. Veritas picking up the kill. Chachi, he gets another one onto Sven. Low health bars. Move is going to pick it up before giving his life. Hylissang is also fallen, but that's a double over to Veritas. A double for Perkz, but G2 are on the losing end of that fight.
G2 have got to stop trying to skirmish against the Unicorns because they have just had G2's number seemingly at every single turn. G2 refuse to go out onto side lanes and try and play this game, and Unicorns are just going to constantly take this. They have a LeBlanc that is so strong right now, and if you neglect that, your AD carry Sven is going to die time and time again in these fights.
It is just so night and day when you look at this series compared to what we had yesterday. It is all about these fights. Let's see this one more time.
So remember here, flash engage is all G2 have, but it's on to Shen and Taric. Why on earth is that your target? Like, you just allow Veritas to sit untouched and Exile to sit untouched in this fight, while they can easily get to the back line of G2. All G2 saw was a fight.
Yeah?
Not the correct targets. If you go for the 2 tanks, or 2 of the 3 tanks on Unicorns of Love, well, then you don't win the fight.
We're starting to see some of the communication go awry for G2. This team, these are the guys that are oh so favored. Defending champions here in Europe. #1 seed coming into playoffs. Have only dropped 2 games in the last 3 weeks. Right now, they are not living up to that reputation.
Definitely not, and the problem for G2 in this game is whenever they want to go side lanes, unless Expect can shut down Chachi, well, then they don't really have a winning side lane for G2, because if they try and go aggressive...
Here it comes. Hops off.
It actually Doesn't result much in other than cutting them off, forcing them around the side. They can look to get damage on the tower.
Okay.
Channel was pulled as well.
Move. On the hunt. They just wanted to get out of there.
That's actually now an opening for G2 because they have TP on expect.
It's about a 2-minute cooldown, I believe, now for Chachi. Just before rank 3 for him, only level 15. But as I said before here, when Perkz hits in a 1-on-1 against Exile, it's not a 1-on-1 because Shen will join. They keep just trying to fight mid.
Oh man, razzle-dazzled right onto Trick, but they couldn't finish him off. Chachi, meanwhile, mixing it up in the front. Exile TPing around the back. Perkz was there, blocks him off for a few more seconds. Exile's gonna have to flash away. Unicorns do not want this fight any longer. And the Praise Seeker blocked out. No, Trick takes him down. And they keep on chasing, looking for move, looking for more. Perkz finds it, and he shoves Veritas right to his death. 3 kills picked up by G2 Esports, and they can keep on charging. Meganar for Expect. Flash for Chachi. Can he get back to tower in time?
And this is how G2 actually have to try and win this game. While it doesn't look very pretty, as we were trying to talk about before here, whenever they play side lane, they have to respect the Shen ulti on LeBlanc. So Perkz can't really play side lane right now against the globals, but instead he can try and go mid and keep trying to fight. This time, they didn't waste their engage on Taric and Shen.
Yeah.
And suddenly a much different fight and a Baron for G2.
And this time, it's watch the teleport timing with regards to the other cooldowns between Exile and Visit Chachi. Because as you said, Shen on the LeBlanc has been the real difficult thing to best.
It's why G2 can't play silence, and because Expect is so far behind.
Look, Shen is down. In comes the Exile channel over at the side. The rest of the Unicorns are pulling away because move is so low. Exile isn't even in this fight at first. Tries to go in and gets denied. Instantly, the mines mean Exile does not have enough mobility in this fight to be able to get around, get the damage ult.
The smite!
Yeah, just enough to keep him down, but just denying the flank opportunity from Exile turns the skirmish back around. But man, G2, they're just ramming their head into this wall and hoping that they can break it down.
Again, I think it's too hard for G2 to play side lanes because Expect is so far behind in this game against Chachi, and because you then can't play 1v1 top against LeBlanc and Shen at the same time. So I think G2 is forced into team fighting. And that's why they're trying again and again and again. And as long as they don't butcher that engage, well, that comp works. And this time it was also Unicorns trying to kind of poke a hole in the wall a few times, couldn't really get the proper engage, and you said it, Exile came in really late. Suddenly, G2 could actually react and kite back at first, and then stop that initial engage.
Yeah, you can't poke a hole in a wall made out of stone, unfortunately. And Chachi here is trying to find himself. I mean, you go ahead and try it. Let me know how it works out for you. Chachi's trying to defend against 2 right now, but he's got Veritas at his back. But G2 have also got Mythy. Starting to get really rough as they get shoved deeper and deeper into their own territory. Weaver's Wall.
Who tries to block the rotation towards this mid tower to defend it.
They still might get it.
He wanted to get at least the Taric. He got the Lucian, though, I believe. Had to run around and dash over.
Yep, because it cut all the way through the base. Giant wall.
One of the very annoying things is actually when the wall comes up, if you already click mid lane, your champion will then automatically be like, oh, I can't run there, so you have to run around the wall. But that's almost impossible as well. Small thing. I'm sure it wasn't the case here. But Veritas did get blocked from moving over, even though he could technically just dash the wall.
G2, they're going to rotate down on bottom side. Perkz has got to be careful there. Exile had found him for just a second. He's on cooldown. Trick is blocking out the full channel of culling. This minion wave is not going to last much longer, and there it goes. But G2 are still on this right now.
Gotta respect the damage from Exile, especially on someone like Perkz. With this Talia here, problem for Exile is, while he had a great start, it is really hard to keep
Oh, Sven. He was right on in the front, but they dazzle him up. They barrel him up, but they're going to make a wish. Can move, do it. No, Perkz picks him off. Unstoppable. Expect is in there, mixing it up with big Nars. And Chachi now is trying to stay alive, but he gets hopped and bopped and taunts his way to freedom. Veritas just simply doesn't have enough damage. Expect does not fear the Chachi, and Perkz takes him out.
G2 again able to take the fight. Chachi was up pushing top lane. Didn't quite see if he was there in time, but it didn't seem to matter. Despite Sven getting caught out without being able to spell shield the Taric stun, they turn this fight all the way back around, get all the heals out of Soraka, and pull Sven back into a defensive position before he turns back around in the fight to output a lot of damage, and they can turn it back in their favor.
It looked very scary early on in the game, but ever since G2 have been able to get these fights, have been able to take control of the game, Very aggressive move from Sven here. Doesn't even get to spell shield the Taric stun and then has it after. Only got a little bit of damage removed from move. But because he's able to kite back, because Soraka's able to kite back, none of them get instantly popped. Now you can turn it around because Exile not able to kill anyone. It is so hard to play LeBlanc in these late game fights against things like Sivir, spell shield, Soraka, silence, healing. And Unicorns would love to play this 1-3-1 game, but G2 just keep forcing fights over and over and over. They're flashing forward, Talia walling, trying their best to just constantly 5-on-5.
It's very, very difficult against this mobility. You know, G2 are putting out Sivir, plus they also have a Talisman of Ascension. You can see up at the top of your screen, Unicorns haven't been particularly successful when behind at this point in the match. And G2, they tend to crush and win every game. So the two opposite sides of the coin in this matchup would lead you to believe G2 would have the statistical advantage, and I would exactly say the same thing to Fish here.
Definitely agree. However, I do think we can also agree that G2 in this series specifically had a habit of stupid aggression, to use Perks and his own word. Because from time to time, the last few games, we have seen them randomly dive forward, overextend, get collapsed on where they didn't have to. Can still happen in this game. It's for Unicorns, it's once again about getting the flank off with Exile, flanking in with the Shen on him. Trying to lock down either Perks or Sven. If G2 respects that, they're gonna keep winning fights.
Looks like that's gonna be the case. They just keep on the safe siege. No more minions just left, but they chip a few more hits off the tower. Exile trying to go in, but he's no longer able to find anywhere near enough damage to equalize.
There is a few wards behind G2 now, but they're pretty far behind them in case Unicorns want to TP on them.
They're gonna move fast.
So they're not really proper locations right now, and that's why this tower goes down. It's really all about Exile being able to pop one of the squishies in the back. But which one do you pick?
Yeah, well, right now it seems like Perks is the easier target without a defensive item, really. You can also get the Soraka if the silence doesn't come through, but that's a tough one again. Is going to have Exhaust plus Wish available, so you've got a one-shot hit. That kind of relies on Mithy not being on point with the silence.
Exactly, and Mithy has been on point with the silence in this game. The Soraka pick has been very good for G2. The way he's played it.
Chachi gets denied. Ay, ay, ay. Teleport now coming in for Exile, and they do not get anything out of it except trying to defend this bottom lane that G2 were pushing on.
Was that an ult flash out of Expect?
It was.
Did he actually push Chachi further away?
Yeah, I think the flash was definitely a misclick.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I don't think it works like that, because it pushes you... yeah, we just saw it under Fishio's screen.
I mean, even then, you don't even need to. You just want to interrupt the...
Oh, Perks!
Why are you running there?
Not enough damage, and Mithy makes a wish real quickly. But it was a near miss. Exile, just a smidgen more damage was all he needed.
Soraka once again, being annoying. Saving the day, stopping Exile from carrying this game on his own.
So far, the Soraka
funny
pick's worked
enough,
out.
a Unicorn is actually in the way of Unicorns of Love winning the game. It really doesn't make any sense.
It's a bit poetic, but ironic as well.
It's very counter-logic.
Well, that's why there was so much potential earlier.
You guys are in the wrong league. All right. Taking a look, uncork the flashlight. I don't know what that makes. That doesn't make any sense at all. Turn on the flashlight, and there's a Baron being started.
Well,
oh, move! Well, he's flashing out of there. Okay. So I'm all over the place this game, and so is these fights. Expect is finding move on this one. Chachi, he's going really, really, really low, but he's got the shield on, so does Trick. Expect's coming right back up, and Sven picks off move. Unicorns now, they just don't have enough damage left in the tank. Perks goes godlike, gets a double, taking down Exile. Veritas and Chachi are running for their lives, and in goes Veritas, right to his death. That's the ace, and straight for the base goes G2.
G2 built the wall, and it's the Unicorns that are going to be made to pay for it, because Unicorns have just been aced. G2 are going to go 2-1 up.
Yes, indeed. Just shy of 35 minutes on the clock. G2 Esports, they were in control just about all game long, and they finished the job, holding the series 2-1.
The true MVP is the ZZ Rock portal plays to kill the Nexus by G2 in the end. Apart from that, Mithy with some fantastic team fights on this Soraka. Good silences,
Yeah, the ZZ routes did a lot of work.
ZZ Roll, I think he got one hit on the next.
It's one of my favorite items.
Made the difference.
Made the difference. That is what I call.
Hey man, we know that 2 HP can mean all the difference.
Definitely. I mean, we've seen situations where people in Europe didn't kill the Nexus. However, in this game, when you just ace the enemy team,
it's kind of hard not to.
It is pretty easy to finish the game. At G2, it looks scary, honestly, in the early to mid game. There were some good moves from Unicorns. They managed to punish. They managed to kill Expect a few times. He also died solo because he was down and took the fight against Chachi. And that meant G2 could not play side lanes at all. They had to just team fight their way out. And after a bad fight, they learned and won every single one after.
Very different dynamic from the bottom lane, though, that we just saw out of G2, which I'm really intrigued about as well. We don't see it much here in Europe, as we were talking about. Mithy seems very comfortable on it and turns that matchup because of the 2v2.
Definitely.
Much
Super good last pick.
Yeah,
G2.
the LeBlanc definitely didn't do enough because of that Soraka, but Exile was still doing a lot of work. They've got to change things up for game number 2. G2 now, they are at match point 2-1 over Unicorns. But let's bounce it back to the analyst desk to break down game 3.
Thank you so much, Pyro Stress and Bill Nye, the science guy over there. Let's take a look at picks and bans. Let's talk about Soraka, guys. And I want to know how you guys felt about it initially when it came out in the draft, and then when we saw fight after fight after fight, when the Unicorns tried to force something and it didn't work, how did it influence the course of the game?
I mean, we have a former pro support player, so he should probably give some insight.
And notably, Soraka, one trick, Flash Banana. No, I think this, I mean, we all agreed on it during the game. Soraka was a great pick here because it really neutralized a lot of what Unicorns were going to do, but it looks like an easy pick to play, but we have to praise Mithy. Like, this guy played out of his mind on Soraka. He must have been so tilting for him to watch his team constantly run. It's like when you're a healer in World of Warcraft and your raid is all standing in the fire. You keep them alive, so you're doing a great job. Everyone goes like, yeah, nice DPS, guys. But like, that's for Mithy like this game. He kept everybody alive, silenced everybody.
Can you tell me what the most difficult thing is? Is it keeping an eye on everything and judging the exact... Yeah.
It's fighting the urge to not walk up and queue people. You still have to sit back and heal people. Not dying when you build super squishy, like this guy went Talisman first. And finding out who's taking damage and which like idiot is gonna run in next. You know, that is like that is Soraka in a nutshell. But yeah, that's Soraka in a nutshell.
Okay, and then in this game, what did we saw out of the Unicorns that was good? We saw Exile coming with his... Well, he did try to get banned out by G2, and then the LeBlanc comes out, and we know that he's good at playing that. What did you guys make of his pressure that he put on the map?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, they had both solo kill mid and top, as far as I'm aware. And I think it was actually just a matter of execution in terms of like their roams onto the side lanes. Yeah, for example, this one's really good. Good setup from Unicorns.
They did this twice. So they basically sent Exile to top and then use the advantage that they create in having the Shenalty for the next dive bottom. Trashy, you were talking about this a lot during the game as well.
This is something Exile does a lot, where he instantly, when he get the mid push, he roams and try to create pressure on the side lanes. And I think they executed well with getting LeBlanc ahead. He had kills. But the problem is that when at some point Soraka Sivir want to go mid, and when they went mid, I feel like UOL wanted to force too much around mid, when in reality, I feel like LeBlanc with a Channel can just go to a side lane and he can probably just kill anyone. And then, I don't know, like I feel like UOL went into too much of G2's game with just fighting around mid where the Soraka really can shine. So on one hand, G2 played it well, but I also think UOL executed poorly.
Let's take a look at the 3 games that we've seen so far. 2-1 for G2. What we talked about in the beginning of the day was top versus top and the mid matchup. How much do you think either of them has influenced this series so far? Let's maybe start by mid, because Perks had a really, really good Talia game. I think we also have to commend that maybe to Mithy a bit.
Really? I feel like Talia can push early, but I feel like they didn't really utilize that he could push early.
Like in this instance, what's on the replay right here, what happened before this, if Exile actually flashes over Perks' W, it's insta-kill. If Vizijachi doesn't die here, Unicorn starts snowballing throughout the series as well. If Unicorns actually nail the dives on bot lane, like how many dives have we seen today on bot lane tier 1 that just slightly better execution? G2 find themselves in like a really big disadvantage.
Yeah, I actually feel like both Vizijachi and Exile is playing better than Perks and Expect in the games. They're just lacking the mid-game execution on their champions they have, and understanding what they want to do in the game is their problem right now, I think.
If you were the Unicorns of this game, Martin, you're playing against a Soraka, like how would you alter the build, for example, from the Lucian? You were talking about this during the game as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, as you said, if anyone actually knows that Executioner's Calling is still in the game, but it's 800 gold, 1580, and Double Longsword is 700 gold, 2080, so it's definitely a worthy pickup on the first base. And I think it's just a necessity, because there's going to come a point in the game anyways when you have to pick it up, and it just makes things so much easier, because there's not always a scenario when you're able to flank and get the Soraka down, and you like are forced to focus the other people, and then if you don't have that Executioner, the Soraka just has her prime time, you know. So either you pull the flanks better, which they have been struggling with throughout the whole series, or you itemize better and you will have an easier time.
Yeah, we saw Veritas go Zeal, IE.
Yeah, I think that's actually just straight up trolling, but...
what would you have built instead? In like,
I mean, I would always go Youmuu's Black Cleaver, especially in a game like this when you're getting outscaled regardless of what you build.
Composition-wise?
Yeah, exactly. You're getting outscaled regardless, right? So you have to bank on the early game and the mid game. And then by going Essence Reaver, you basically put yourself in a situation where you're not stronger than AD anymore. And we didn't see that like Lucian into the Sivir pressure in this game as we saw in game 2. So I think he maybe had like a misjudgment in terms of what he thought he needed to bring for his team. But I would definitely say like the Youmuu's Black Cleaver one build is better in almost every scenario.
Well, we'll see what happens for the Unicorns of Love. They have done the Splice strat and chosen red side for the next game, so maybe they have something up their sleeve. We'll see what happens. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Game 4 between G2 and the Unicorns of Love will be coming up right after this.